I gather that all of you are in favor of alternative sources of fuels.
What have we learned? In 1893, Rudolf Diesel invents an engine that runs on peanut oil. He then dies mysteriously, and we're told his engines are only run on petroleum. By 1906, Standard Oil has taken complete control of the oil industry. In 1939, Shell scientists get 49 miles per gallon in a converted road vehicle. In 1946, a patent is registered for a water-injected carburetor. A few years later, Ken Cundy meets a man who claimed to have invented a similar carburetor that got 100 miles per gallon, and Shell Oil bought the patent from him, making him a millionaire. Around the same time, Shell Oil scientists get 149.95 miles per gallon on a converted Studebaker. In 1956, M. King Hubbert, another Shell Oil scientist, predicts the U.S. will reach its oil production peak by about 1970. In 1970, the U.S. reaches its peak. Just after the U.S. peak, politics disrupt our imports, causing a crisis to the U.S. economy. During this crisis, Tom Ogle of El Paso invents a vapor engine that is documented as getting more than 100 miles per gallon. After his untimely death, Tom's invention is discredited and the car disappears. A few years later, Ernie Pierce uses Tom's idea to double the gas mileage on his old Pinto. But Ernie feels threatened and discontinues the project before he ends up like Tom Ogle. After a brief effort to improve miles per gallon and develop alternative fuels, gas prices drop and consumers forget. And now, as the world approaches the peak Hubbert predicted, what will happen next?
If I had a market cornered on a resource that was becoming more and more scarce, I wouldn't want to give you an alternative either.
If Exxon continues to look into alternative fuel development, we're going to see $10 million a year for the alternative fuel development and $400 million to the CEO.
What we really need is access to explore, to drill, and add capacity of oil and gas.
The type of money that has been made off dirty energy is astronomical, and it's bought an awful lot of public opinion.
But the fact is that the United States is a mature oil province. Domestic production is declining.
We've pretty much gotten all the easy oil. The new sources that people tend to talk about are offshore, and they tend to be very deep water. There certainly can be fields found that, haven't been found yet, but we've looked awfully hard.
Everyone's got their pension funds invested in Exxon. People don't know it. They're not trying to do harm, but people have to be aware of where their money's going. And I think that hopefully we'll start to see large corporations realize the benefits of, corporate social responsibility.
It is irritating when you know that there are things that could be used that aren't being used. Part of it is the way consumers react. I'm talking simply about, do I want to run a diesel?
So the question becomes, what incentives do people have to move away from that? Because right now it's very convenient.
The big question today, and the question you ask, is the United States of America prepared to change course, to change direction when it comes to fossil fuels?
This is all about our country and the future of our country, both our national security and energy security, and not economic terrorism.
What's the quote? Evil can only happen when good men stand by and do nothing.
All that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing.
So how long will this go on, and what do we do about it? At what point do we say enough?
I don't know the answer, Becky.
I don't know the answer.
No, I don't know.
Don't know.
And I'll tell you, if we're going to get through this without some really, really serious bumps in the road, we're going to have a program that kind of is a mixture of the total commitment that we had for World War II, the kind of a technology commitment we had in putting a man on the moon, and the kind of intensity that we had in the Manhattan Project.
These are pretty big issues that were solved by American ingenuity.
The government has to establish some type of project, the way we did to put a man on the moon, in order to keep human beings on the earth.
I do believe in people, and being American and somebody that worked putting America on the moon in the 60s, I believe in Yankee ingenuity and the kind of mentality that people are free, they can do what they want to do, and it's time to step to the plate and make this change in our energy future regardless.
When you look at a picture of Chicago in 1900, you will see 99% horse-drawn vehicles. When you look at the same picture of State Street, for example, in 1907, you'll see a majority of vehicles were internal combustion engine. We can make the shift pretty quickly.
They did it then, we can do it now.
We're going to do this for the country, for the good of the country.
There are a lot of things we can do, and we're not doing them.
You got to do everything that might help make things better.
It is the great issue of our time.
And the sensible solution can come through technology that is already proven. Plans are on the shelf, gathering dust. Get them off, dust them off, and then we will add to our national security.
It's more than doable. It's efficient, it's effective, it's smart. We can do this.
I believe that the American people can rise to almost any challenge. This is going to be a big challenge.
We see a problem, and I think the American way is to be the hero and solve that problem. But the downside of that is we let it become a problem in the first place.
The good news is that if we start today to do something, the transition will be less painful than if we wait until tomorrow.
It's not enough to say something. You have to do something.
It's going to happen. Biofuels are coming, whether anyone likes it or not. It makes so much sense.
And biodiesel is not the only one, it's just the most easily and readily available.
We are a great people and we are a great country, and it's time that we step to the plate and solve these problems that are the net result of the greed of a few people that just think they have us by the huevos.
And hopefully, you know, once that happens, it'll get the ball rolling, and there'll just be a snowball effect, and people will catch on, and we'll change the world.
We can do so much better. We're capable of doing so much better. We can do better. I have every confidence in that. That's the best part of the story.
I mean, just do it, because we know it's the smart, right, sustainable thing to do, and to heck with them. You know, we got our work cut out for us. Let's go do it.